in majority black cities, researchers call it the black tax, when those cities have to pay more than white communities to borrow money. And it's on full display in Memphis, where families face higher interest rates and greater debt just to improve things like schools, roads, and parks. NBC's Antonia Hilton has been digging into this story. And Antonio, you saw how the black tax works up close. Tell us what you found.
That's right. I mean, often when we cover these stories about financial discrimination, it can be hard to visualize them, to show people how people are affected by things like redlining, right? That's not the case here. In Memphis, you can walk into these schools. Many of them are over 100 years old. Water is leaking out of the ceilings. Classrooms are not functional. In the case of one school you're about to see, the library's roof caved in. And researchers think they know why. Take a look. Every morning, Daphne Pratcher packs lunch for her daughter Ramia and niece Zuri. Typically, they'd all ride over to the same Memphis, Tennessee school where Daphne works in special education. But in August, their routine turned upside down when the roof of the library at their school, Cummings Elementary, caved in, sending 3 adults to the ER.
The kids have to go to school, so just pray that, you know, from day to day that everything is safe.
What was going on in your mind at that point?
What am I going to do now? I mean, as far as where will my kids go? Where would I work? How would I still pay my bills?
Since then, the school has been closed. For years now, Memphis students have attended schools with over $500 million in deferred maintenance costs. That's according to the county. When the roof collapsed at Cummings, another school called La Rose found space and extra classrooms for their kids. But even this school is in need of some repair. A new study offers a clue as to why. Researchers found evidence that Memphis has been harmed by what they call the black tax, a pattern in which communities with more black residents pay higher borrowing costs in the municipal bond market compared to majority white communities, even when credit risk is taken into account. The more black people, the more lenders charge them to borrow less money, and the harder it is to fund projects like schools.
We discovered other.
For years, Reverend Althea Green has fought for more funding on the school board.
I've been in Memphis my entire life. I'm a product of Memphis City Schools. I can remember as a little girl growing up and going to elementary school, this sink is where I went to wash the exact same sinks.
The road to repair is long. About 1/3 of Memphis school buildings are more than 100 years old.
This could be a very emotional journey when you walk in a building and you start seeing all of the needs. Because each day it seems that they're identifying more and more problems.
Professor Matthew Winter studies the black tax. His team believes it has cost Memphis more than $100 million.
The market's behaving as if the presence of these black people in and of itself is something that makes it risky.
We reached out to the major banks underwriting municipal bonds, the agencies assigning bond ratings, and the SEC, which regulates them. All declined to comment. But Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris plans to demand answers. How are you going to hold them accountable? That's a major implication. That's a disrespect not just to the county, but to every single black person who lives in it.
I think that's right. I think that's right. We have demonstrated to this community of lenders that we have what it takes, and we just need to make sure that we're treated fairly.
Just 20 minutes down the road, the predominantly white district of Collierville has a higher bond rating and a new $100 million high school.
Well, that surprises me. We should have a bond rating at least as high or higher than Collierville. Shelby County has done an incredible job of managing its debt load and managing its financial resources.
Here in Memphis, Reverend Green continues to fight an uphill battle and put on a brave face.
And even as we stand here and you look up, we realize that these are old stains. I want parents to be assured that this won't happen again. Don't children who look like me deserve to see better and to go in places that look like the schools look in other areas? But how do we get there?
How do we get there?
You know, I look at that and I think she obviously, you know, has the fortitude to stick with it. But what does it say to a kid that they have to go to a school like that? You said a gymnasium with no air conditioning.
That's right.
You're not valued. That's what it says, right?
I asked the mother who you met at the beginning of the piece, Daphne, that question, and she really paused. And the sense that I got from community members there is that it sends a message that these kids don't matter as much as the kids who live down the road and get to go to the $100 million high school. That year after year, people see these schools struggle to fund repairs and tell kids that, well, this is what you deserve. And so the hope now for the researchers who produce this report is that cities will go to their lenders and demand some kind of change.
Antonia, I hope that we have sent a message here. Such great reporting. Thank you for bringing it to us. We appreciate it.